Now, Solomon Islands in the South Pacific has been on the front line of an aggressive China as it tries to take strategic advantage of the COVID crisis by giving aid to countries in the Pacific. The aid then allows it to exert its influence and often comes with the condition of signing up to the Beijing Belt and Road Initiative. The Premier of Solomon Islands' most populous province, Premier Daniel Suidani, had the courage to say no to such a bribe. It's at odds with his central government's decision to cash in on China's ambitions in the South Pacific. This was then held over his head when he desperately needed funds for brain surgery, and he ended up having to have that in Taiwan. The Premier now joins me in an exclusive interview from Taiwan. Premier Suidani, thank you very much for your time. I hope you are recovering well. You had just celebrated your win in June 2019 when you were first approached with accepting cash from China in exchange for switching your position, your diplomatic allegiance to China instead of Taiwan. What happened at that time you were offered that bribe?
Thank you, Sherry, for giving me this space. At that time, being the representative of the people of my province, I decided to not to take the bribe because of I am just a representative. I will always get back to my people, and I will always do what my people like in terms of leading the people as a premier of Malaita Province.
Very courageous move. 2 months after you were offered this bribe, Solomon Islands then announced, the national government of Solomon Islands announced that it would then switch diplomatic ties from Taiwan to China. It said that it would no longer recognize Taiwan as an independent nation. Do you think they accepted similar bribes in the central government of the Solomon Islands?
In terms of the switch from ROC to PRC, what happened uh, in terms of the switch is not clear, but I believe there is something that is going on between PRC and the national government of Solomon Island that makes them to switch without consulting with the people of the nation in terms of the switch. So even if I'm not sure of what is between the two countries, there are speculation and suggestion that there must be something going on between the two in terms of the switch.
I mean, your courage in standing up to China's debt trap diplomacy, which is what this is, a debt trap diplomacy. Do you think there are any other Pacific leaders who have been able to resist similar payments and similar bribes, or have they given in and accepted, help in the form of mask diplomacy, vaccine diplomacy, in expense for their sovereignty?
Like for myself, being a very new political leader, being elected just it's my first time in the government. Uh, the information of knowing people that might have been lured with bribes or other things like factions to get out of their decision. That is something I don't know, but I suggest that most of the leaders who have not been standing strong for the people and their regions must have been offered such kind of offer for them to give in their decisions and not getting back to the people for consultation and for getting the people's view on the things that being a leader should do with the province or the country.
This decision you took has taken a personal toll on you. You needed brain surgery. You tried to get that in Australia, but the Australian hospital asked you to make an upfront payment of $100,000, which obviously you couldn't afford. The Australian government then didn't step in to assist, even though foreign policy experts said this is the type of humanitarian aid to an ally that we should be giving. Instead, Taiwan's president came to your aid. You've just had brain surgery. How are you doing? And I also want to ask you, how concerned is Taiwan's president about China's intentions with Taiwan?
I think in terms of my medical treatment here in Taiwan, first of all, I would like to thank the government of Taiwan for, especially the president, Dr. Tsai Ing-wen, for her support in ensuring that I am able to come to Taiwan for this very important medical treatment. This is a very big thing for me and my family, and especially the provincial government and the people of Malaita Province for this genuine help. It is clear that Taiwan continues to help and to do great and be generous in its long history in support and providing help for humanitarian grounds. So I was very happy indeed for allowing me to come here to Taiwan to get my treatment. So my
and
people.
How worried is Taiwan's president about China's increasing aggression? It's escalating flight incursions, its threats. How worried is he about China's intentions with regards to Taiwan?
Come again?
How worried is the Taiwanese president about whether China intends to invade or, strike some sort of reunification deal with Taiwan?
Yes. In terms of that thinking, I believe the Taiwan government, being the people who have the same values and principle as Solomon Island have in the democratic values and the principle of democracy. So they are willing to help with people who share the same values as they do here in the country here in Taiwan. So Solomon Island and Malaita, for that matter, my province is holding up the democratic values and the principle. So I believe Taiwan is also respecting that value and the principle that we are standing for.
Premier Suidani, we wish you all the very best with your recovery, and again, just applaud your courage in standing up to China, being one of the rare politicians who has had the courage to say no to China's bribes, which are becoming increasingly more common, particularly during the time of the coronavirus, where they've sought to take strategic advantage of this virus to exert their influence in the Pacific. So well done to you, and thank you very much for your time tonight. Really appreciate it. We wish you well.
Thank you.